welcome to the show, and thank you for joining me and my guest today, John Muckridge from the Rescue Mission. How are you?
I'm fantastic, Dee. Thanks for having me.
Exciting news. Let's talk about it.
Yeah, so we, on October 31st at 10 a.m., we're having a groundbreaking ceremony to start building this new rescue mission for the Lord's glory.
How many years has this been in the planning?
So I have newspaper articles in my office that date back to the 70s where the mission was talking about a new facility. And in the early 2000s, it got serious and it was announced. And so it's been about 20 years for when it was announced about 20 years ago.
The impetus for this is because of the demand and need for individuals in this community to have available transitional housing. And I know the rescue mission is also a part of the cold winter program, but your year-round services is so needed by so many.
Yeah, we're averaging about 114 a night. And that's about, out of the 114, 25 of them are children. So between the ages of 2 days old all the way up to 17 years old. So 25 of the 114 a night are kids.
Once an individual makes a contact with the rescue mission, what happens?
So they would either come in for the intake process. We have it set up where the client comes in, and the first 7 days they're considered to be an emergency client, where we have minimal expectations, and we're just asking them to meet basic behavioral expectations and giving them a chance just to take a deep breath and think about how they came here and what's next. After 7 days, if they want to stay at the rescue mission beyond that, they have to choose to engage in one of the 4 programs that we offer. And they meet with the directors of departments, and they walk through the different programs and options that they have in order to continue to stay with us.
What are your 4 programs or tracks?
Yeah, so the first one is what we call transitional. These are clients that are unable to work. Maybe it would be a mom with a couple of kids, unable to find employment. It's easier for us to transition them into housing beyond the homeless shelter. So those are transitional clients. The second would be our workforce assistants. Those are clients that are capable and able to work, and we show our love to them by holding them accountable to go out and look for work. Can't lay around all day and not do anything. We're going to get you going and get you plugged in to help you look for work. And then the third is our working clients. So those are clients that have a job, that are staying with us. They're required to save 50% of their discretionary income in an account that we administer, and when the client moves out, we write them a check for everything that they've saved. So now they have a financial safety net and are able to sustain their living environment, and as opposed to coming back through the doors as a homeless client. And then the fourth would be our Discipleship Academy. So it's our long-term, biblically based kind of recovery program where we're teaching through the scriptures, and we have personal finance courses and other courses also.
That's important to know because, again, your location right now on Martin Luther King Boulevard was never intended for that type of housing, because you're doing families, you have males, and you have women. And what's the minimum age required for an individual?
Well, if they don't have a parent or guardian, they have to be 18 years old.
Okay.
But if they have a parent or guardian, that they can come in, like I said, 2 days old. A lady who's staying with us, who's pregnant, has gone to the hospital, delivered her baby, and has come back, and we doubled our client there because we went from 1 to 2 clients.
Right. For the mission's goal here, you rely a lot on volunteers and donations as well. We're getting ready to move into the cold weather. What is it that you're in need of right now?
So
anything?
Yeah, we're always in need of coffee, sugar, and pillows.
Okay.
It's interesting how we go through coffee, sugar, and pillows, and towels as well. From a volunteer standpoint, we have hundreds of volunteers that come in over the course of the year, from anywhere from serving meals to helping clean, and to also offer. We have volunteers that come in and do Sunday services, preaching, and then we also have some that come and do children's Bible study on Sundays as well.
So your volunteers cover the full spectrum. What's your annual budget, John?
So we have a $2 million operating budget. So that's what it takes to operate the mission 365 days a year. That does not include the capital campaign to build the new building.
Are you at capacity right now?
We're not at capacity. We're at capacity in the family service department, but we're not at capacity at the men's service department. We're usually at capacity with family services.
Under the definition of homeless, an individual can be residing with a relative and not able to find or maintain independent housing. That individual, by definition, is still homeless.
Sure.
Yeah. Let's talk about the exciting event that's coming up. Your goal was 5.5 million?
That's right.
Where are you in that?
So as of today, we need $334,008. That's how much.
John, $8.
$334, $8 left to go, and that will get us to the 5.5. So that 5.5 includes everything that if you were to take the building, flip it upside down, and shake it, everything that stays attached would be the 5.5, the hard cost. That's right.
Okay. Now, I know historically in the seeking process, you looked at a site on the south side. What took you to the Oakland area?
Yeah, that's a great question. So back in the beginning of 2018, we were just praying and thinking through the site that we had on the south side and whether or not that's ideal for our clients. Our clients spend most of their time either at the mission or at appointments that are mostly located on the north side, which is where the mission is located. So when we're thinking through that, and most of our clients don't have transportation, they walk everywhere they go. So it would be a mile walk to and then a mile walk back for a mom and a couple of kids to get to their appointments. So it just made sense logistically for our clients to stay on the north side. Plus, that's a neighborhood that we've been in since the 70s and have been out and have the opportunity to serve the surrounding neighborhood. For folks who don't have food in their cabinets, they actually come down to the mission and will eat different meals as well.
When I first saw the rendering, I thought, wow, this blends right into the structures that are there. Is that your intention? Because it was very, I don't know, for me when I first saw it, I said, wow, this is going to fit in fantastically. That was by design. It's a beautiful gift from the neighbors. We met with Mayor Brown and Councilman Pinkert over a course of a year and met with certain groups, neighbors on the north side, and we worked together to come up with that. They wanted to make sure that their hand was a part of the design, and so I think it worked. It worked out. Good job.
Great. Yeah, they did a great job.
Very striking. We just had the photo there. Talk to me about the walkthrough and when you come through the front door, but you're also planning, if I remember correctly, a separate entrance based upon what your needs are, right?
Sure.
Okay.
So as you can imagine, having 114 people, safety and security is priority for us. At the current location, everybody walks through the main entrance. So we have our men's service, single male clients, and then our family services, which would be women and children, all walking through the same entrance. The design of the new facility would be that the men's shelter has its own front entrance and then also own backyard, which that's fenced in if they want to go outside and smoke. And then family services on the opposite side of the building has its own entrance, and same idea. So that our clients are going into their own entrances. And then in the back of the building, since we have a lot of volunteers that come in during the nights and weekends, that door will be open. There'll be a volunteer vestibule and entrance for our volunteers that come into the kitchen. For them to come in, there'll be a locker room for them to put their things down and then get buzzed into the kitchen so that they can serve. And it's just from a flow efficiency standpoint, it just makes so much more sense.
Excuse me. Groundbreaking on the 31st. What's your timeline?
So we're thinking 12 to 14 months. The builder that the Lord has provided to us is Whitmer Construction, and he's a brother that we know is building the building not his main motivation isn't for his checking account, but definitely building the building for the glory of Christ, and somebody that we trust. And so his timeline he's given us is 12 to 14 months.
Within the next several months, the volunteers and you are going to have a difficult time looking at what you're going to take with you to the new structure and the whole logistics of transferring. And we're going to talk about that. We're going to take a short break. We'll be right back. Welcome back as John and I continue to talk about this exciting event that's taking place. Have you given thought to transitioning? How are you moving this number of individuals with different needs, male, females, children, as you're saying, babies? You're looking within a year to transition this population to the new facility. Housing rules, maintenance of the property, understanding that there are certain things that you just can't do. I mean, you've got the big responsibility of trying to keep this new building up to par and standard based upon the community interaction. And each of those individuals bring their own problems to the table.
Sure.
I don't envy you your day.
So we just want to be good stewards of what the Lord has blessed us with, and that includes the facility, new facility, and we want to make sure we keep that clean. And we have part of the design of the facility is both men's services and family service will have their own hot box. Now, a hot box is what you use to put clothing in, and you crank up the temperature, and any bed bugs that are alive in there, the heat kills the bed bug. So each of the departments now will have its own hot box. So any client, all the clients that come in, and when they bring their clothing or anything that they have on them, they go into the hot box, and then we were able to kind of take care of that bed bug issue from ever happening in the new facility because of that design.
That's one point. The other is showers and the showering facility for hygiene.
Yeah.
How have you managed that in this building that was formerly a Y? How do you do that, John, on a day-to-day basis?
So we, by God's grace, primarily. That's how he's been very gracious in protecting his ministry.
That's the saying that said, if you want to make God laugh, tell him you've made plans.
Amen. So the new facility, I think we're going from 16 toilets to 45 toilets.
Oh my!
So I think that's 181% increase.
Yeah.
So we're going to have more objects. But part of the expectations of our clients that stay there is that they do have chores. They have things that they engage in, and that would be one of the things too. And then we would have staff members making sure that the cleanliness standard is met. And then so that's part of staying at the rescue mission.
And that's part of your education and training program as you're moving these individuals out. And I think the fact that they're allowed to save some of their money before they leave is definitely helpful if they're going to go into another housing, whether it's Section 8 or Metropolitan. A lot of individuals don't have the many things that you need in order to run a household, because with SNAP and the food programs, you can't buy toilet paper, you can't buy soap, mops, but those things that are tied to maintaining cleanliness of yourself and your apartment or housing.
Yeah. I mean, I think even just knowing how to properly clean, or even knowing how to properly save. There are some folks that walk in that stay with us that have never been taught those things. So part of their time is staying with us. We're teaching those things as well. Basics. To help position them to succeed as they transition out of homelessness. So we're just trying to do the best job that we can to steward the finances that come in and the relationships that walk through the door as well.
Are you seeing a need for more volunteers once you move into this beautiful big building?
Well, you had mentioned the whole transition. I think that we'll have to rely on a significant amount of volunteers to help us transition from the current shelter to the new shelter. And then even beyond that, we're talking about a 20,000 square foot space that's large, about 20,000 square feet more. So most definitely we would need volunteers to continue to engage in the ministry and to serve. Plans
for raising the $300,000+ and $8?
Sure, we
I can't get over the $8, John.
$334 and $8 is where we're at today.
If you're out there, $8 is definitely a need.
Amen. Yeah, so we're trusting the Lord for Him to continue to work through the generosity of the Valley. Again, this $5.5 million will be raised outside of government funding. It's all local individuals, local businesses, churches, and local foundations that have given to the capital campaign, as well as provide the funding needed to operate the ministry year-round. So we'll continue to trust Him in that for the remaining funding.
You mentioned briefly the capacity. What was the thinking behind the numbers? You're seeing an increase in rising of families with both parents. How are you structured for them? You've got the males in one section. You've got women and children in another section.
Yeah.
What about the intact family where both parents are there?
Yeah, that's another benefit to the new facility layout. So a dad with kids We'll have a different area in family services behind a closed door, locked in different rooms that are set aside for dads with kids or husbands and wives that come in, and then a separate section for single mom with kids, and then a separate section for single women. And then in addition to that, instead of having one family room, which we currently have, so we have 60 people sharing one living room right now in family services, we'll have 2 separate living rooms. We'll have one for single women and then one with families. And the one with families has both a play area for teenage kids to 9 years old or so, and then a smaller play area for toddler play.
A lot of thought has gone into the layout of this building, and of course, we're saying the number of years that this has been in the planning, you're finally seeing it to come to fruition. Have you notified some of the previous directors that, hey, here we finally have arrived? Because it's been the work of 3 different directors, actually.
Most definitely, yeah. Now, one of them is with Jesus right now.
Yeah.
So his wife is still with us, and she'll be a part. She'll be a part of this and invited to come and praise the Lord for what He's done.
Yeah, because it's been a long struggle, and the need continues to be there, even into the future. For transitional housing, you mentioned those individuals after the 6 days. What happens when the individual says, I don't want to participate in either of your 4 tracks?
Yeah, so they're just choosing not to stay at the rescue mission anymore, and that's okay. And we love you, and we hope that if you ever do want to engage in that and you want to come back, we'd love to help you out. I think one of the things that we're making sure that we're doing is when we talk about being good stewards of finances, but being good stewards of the people that the Lord sends through. And we want to just be good stewards of them and help hold them accountable and help them to grow, and that's part of that process.
Given the length of time that the rescue mission has been around, are you seeing 2nd and 3rd generations of individuals?
Yes. So we've had, on any given point, we could have a grandma who had stayed with us before, back with us, who has a daughter or a son, and they have a child as well. So there's just been times multi-generational staying together at the rescue mission. Sure.
Throughout the year, the rescue mission, aside from the capital campaign, you do mailings for individuals like that. We're moving into the holiday season for everyone, regardless whether it's Christmas or we just experienced Hanukkah, Kwanzaa. Excuse me. You have an appeal for meals. Talk a little bit about that, because you do 3 meals a day there. Not just for the residents, but for individuals who come in that are hungry.
Yeah.
How do you support that?
So it's through the mailings that folks receive in their mailboxes. That is our primary revenue coming in, the donation stream. We rely heavily on a partner that helps us with that and gets us the opportunity to do that at very low cost. Because they work with other rescue missions across the country, so they're able to help us lower the cost to do that. So that's our primary source. That's the way the Lord sends the donations in, is through those direct mails, especially during this time of the year. Yeah, so it's about $2.17 a meal.
I was going to ask you that. You anticipated my question. Yeah, and let's talk about that meal. You've got a pretty good cook over there.
We do. Yeah, we have several.
How long has he been there?
We've had several, actually. So we have a new food service director.
Okay.
And we have a few cooks, actually, that have been there quite some time.
I remember talking to someone that good over more than definite 5 years. I mean, that's a commitment right there.
Oh, amen.
You know?
Yeah.
So what's a typical meal?
So we're doing about 200 meals a day, and so that doesn't just include the clients that are staying with us. That is open to the public. Mm-hmm. So that's breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And it really depends on the meal. I mean, there are some days we'll have cereal, kind of a buffet cereal for breakfast. There's some days we do bacon, eggs, and waffles and pancakes for breakfast, and then we have a lot of Chick-fil-A. Chick-fil-A does a lot of donating to the rescue mission, so we use Chick-fil-A in a lot of our different meals. On Thursdays for lunch, we call Thursdays Stursdays, because we use Chick-fil-A chicken nuggets in a stir fry, and we serve that at lunch on Thursdays. So
we're going to have to take a short break. Don't go away. Welcome back, and thank you as always for joining me. Big day, the 31st.
Yep, October 31st, groundbreaking.
And you said your projection is for a year. And within that year, you're going to be planning on how you are going to move and transition from the Martin Luther King location around the corner.
Yep. Yeah. So we know we can't close the doors. We know that. So how we transition maybe one department at a time from the current shelter to the new shelter, we'll be working on that plan over the next year. Exciting.
It is, but what a task. What a task. And all of that space, but then once you move individuals into it, it won't seem so big, will it?
That's right, yeah.
What's your nightmare right now, John?
Honestly, Dee, this is the Lord's business. This is His ministry.
So you're just gonna
I'm trusting and depending on Him in all things, and He is faithful. He is faithful.
Are you looking for any types of volunteering during this transition time to help you with that?
So yeah, like I said, I think even some local football teams or basketball teams, who knows, that want to use their guys to come and carry bunk beds. We can kind of go down that route, see if we can get some help there. That'll be part of the discussion as well.
So you're going to set up some type of a timeline, and then getting that information out to the community is going to be key.
Most definitely. And we communicate through our Facebook page. Most of the time, it's
and what
check
is
our
that?
Facebook page. So Rescue Mission of Mahoning Valley, just check us out on Facebook. Yeah, Rescue Mission of Mahoning Valley.
So that's keeping you awake at night?
I'm not sure that's keeping me awake.
Okay. I again, as I mentioned earlier, I cannot even begin to imagine how you and your staff manage with the limited space, the population that you serve, and the needs of that population within the confines of that building.
Yeah,
You're constantly retrofixing. Let's move a bed here, a wall here, or it's been that way for years.
Yeah, we've just closed 2 bedrooms in family services because there's leaking going on, because the structure's old. But the staff that the Lord has sent to the mission is outstanding, Dee. These folks love the Lord and want to serve the people that come through the door, and they're glad to do it.
That building is falling down around you because part of the frontal facade fell, didn't it?
That's right, yeah. We've had bricks and pieces of concrete falling down, so we've had to wrap that with netting, different cracks up in the ceilings, and so it's definitely time to move. There's no question that this is the season, and that we'll be blessed with this new facility here. But just
the wear and tear on your toilet facilities with the volume, your day-to-day utility cost of meeting the needs of this most needed in our community, that's a tremendous job.
Sure, and we also, unfortunately, have folks that stay with us that aren't necessarily good stewards of things and enjoy destroying things. And so once that's aware, then they don't stay with us much longer.
Right, but the damage
is done, and so we have a maintenance man. His name's Brad Engler, that has done a fantastic job in patching this building together with bubble gum and duct tape for the last.
So you really want the community to come out on the 31st? Join in the celebration of something new and good that's happening in the community. See you next week.